Peregrine falcons prospered for centuries on the cliffs of the Mississippi River, but by the 1970s there were very few falcons remaining in the United States. They were nearly extinct.
Several people and organizations banded together to reintroduce the predatory birds to their native habitat in Iowa. And now, after years of work, it's a success story. Peregrine falcons are off the endangered species list and are living and flying freely along the Mississippi River once again.
Peregrine falcons are revered by people across the world. The art of falconry began more than 4,000 years ago, and falcons played important roles in various cultures.
And they're part of this story, you know, this bluff has seen them for eons and then they were gone.
Peregrine falcons are back home, inhabiting the cliffs along the Mississippi River in northeast Iowa and drawing admirers. It's a homecoming some people thought would never happen.
This is a favorite bird, like I said, of people throughout history. And to be able to stop it from becoming extinct and save it and then bring it back, it just speaks volumes for being able to make environmental corrections. It's a true conservation success story.
In the middle of the 1900s, birds of prey began ingesting DDT insecticides through the food chain, and populations disappeared. By the 1970s, almost no peregrine falcons remained, and they were placed on the endangered species list. It was a wake-up call about the dangers of DDT.
As part of a recovery program, Iowans successfully released falcons in urban areas like Des Moines and Cedar Rapids in the late 1980s and early 90s.
As the population was improving in the urban areas, we were waiting for it to start spilling over into the wild cliffs, these historic cliffs.
Bob Anderson, director of the Raptor Resource Project, set out on a mission to reintroduce the peregrines to their native habitat on the cliffs along the Mississippi River. He bred falcons in captivity and began releasing them in 1998.
Iowa Public Television chronicled Anderson's efforts in those early days. Some people thought great horned owls posed too much of a threat for the young peregrines, and few would survive.
By 2001, 5 peregrines were nesting on or near the cliffs. Today, officials have observed about 15 falcons along the Mississippi.
Almost every large cliff on the Mississippi at least has a falcon visiting it, if not breeding now. To have them back on these cliffs, it's extremely rewarding. I mean, it really is, especially considering that many people said it couldn't be done. I mean, there were many experts that said we couldn't do it. But to have them back on these cliffs is it's like the total accomplishment in conservation, I think. And it spurred, efforts with other species too. What we do to the peregrine falcon now, we've done it with the nene goose, and we've done it with the California condor. And it just shows that we can make an environmental correction. And that last-ditch efforts do work, and captive breeding does work. We had a huge wrong with DDT. We outlawed it. We did some captive breeding. Now the peregrine's back. So it's just all good. All good.
The birds of prey eat 1 to 2 blackbird-sized birds a day. Peregrines are extremely territorial.
These little falcons that weigh just about 2 pounds will just knock a 10-pound eagle right out of the sky. They don't tolerate any bird of prey coming near their cliff, and it's quite a show. And I think that's why we have so many falcon effigies along this part of the river, because of that show that's repeated so often. They're just nature's top gun. They truly are. They're nature's top gun.
They're the fastest animal on the planet, capable of diving up to 260 miles per hour. That's almost twice the speed of terminal velocity. The peregrine falcons that have returned to the Mississippi River Valley are providing valuable information and research about how they nest, where they travel, and how the population can be maintained.
Falconers from all over now come to northeast Iowa to witness the success story.
Oh, I see him sitting there.
Well, today we actually saw the historical sites where falcons would have nested for thousands of years on this continent. I'm used to seeing them in the middle of downtown Indianapolis in concrete and traffic and noise, and so to come to the Mississippi and see them on the cliffs where they really were is just almost it makes me cry a little bit, seriously, I'm sorry, because they're just magnificent creatures, and I've felt a special part in my heart for them for such a long time now. So it was kind of a pilgrimage in a way.
I love it, I love it, I love it, I love the Mississippi
River.
Each year, an Iowa Falcon River trip educates people on the cultural and environmental role of peregrine falcons.
The real work is now embarked with the youth to realize that it's up to them to take care of these birds from this generation to the next and the next and the next, forever, so that we don't have to ever lose them ever again.
The peregrine falcon once again flies freely along the Mississippi River cliffs. These dynamic raptors rose from near extinction, and their return is celebrated as a milestone environmental achievement.
The cliffs are silent no longer.
I try to remain optimistic and think that people are doing right things for wildlife and conservation, and also, not only the natural resources, but the cultural resources.
It's just exciting. Every time I see a falcon, for some reason it stirs something up in me, and I just get really excited about it.
Total success story. It's something to celebrate. It truly is. I mean, they're back, and they're back where they belong. Not just on a nest box on a building or a power plant. They're back in their natural home.